Steve Tober with J.R. Parachini of SidelineChatter.com. Looking ahead to championship weekend in high school football. What great way to cap the 2011 season. And J.R., we're going to begin in North 2. Let's look at Group 1 now. Again, not two teams you concentrate on during the course of covering Union County, but an all-Essex County matchup. But you've seen Cedar Grove. You've covered Cedar Grove in the past. Cedar Grove Weequahic, second time this year. Cedar Grove won back on September 16th, 32-20. Weequahic better, stronger. Will Robinson playing better quarterback. But from a Cedar Grove perspective, JR, and you've seen them in the past when you've covered them against Verona in the playoffs for us as well. Ed Sadlock and company, great success, 4 championships since 2000.
Yeah, and they were, I believe, under 500 last year, so good bounce back year for them. And they went to New Providence and upset, the New Providence team. So, here he is playing for another championship.
And an underclassmen dominated team, a team that had a couple of bumps along the way, losing to Caldwell, losing to Orange, but they bounced back in a big way and beating the defending champion, New Providence. And this game, I like Cedar Grove. 2 weeks to prepare, much like when they played Montclair Kimberly Academy. You give that coaching staff, Al Calcagno with the defense, Chuck Manzo with the offense, Rob Gogarty who helps out there, a bunch of other great assistant coaches. Dave Sinisi's on that staff, by the way. He was a great player back in the early part of the new millennium. I like Cedar Grove in a close game against the great athletes of Weequahic. Let's move to the North 2 Group 2 game, Summit Madison, Friday night. And I should mention the Cedar Grove Weequahic game, 10 a.m. Saturday, December 3rd, at MetLife Stadium, formerly Giant Stadium at the Meadowlands. But let's move over to Kane University in Union. A game, certainly one of the combatants you're very familiar with. You covered the defending champion last year in the title tilt, and that's Madison and Summit, a team you're very familiar with under John Liberato. I happened to see them last weekend. A lot of people wanted this marquee matchup. They have it. How do you see it shaping up?
Yeah, well, I covered this game the last 2 years, Summit at Giant Stadium against Orange 2 years ago, and last year Madison Caldwell at Kane. And both teams will be undefeated. They're the last 2 champions in the section. As a matter of fact, the last time Madison lost was to Summit in the semifinals 2 years ago in a nip and tuck game. It went right down to the wire that Summit pulled out. So you got the defending champions playing each other with undefeated records, and I don't think fans can ask for much more than that.
I was impressed. Summit, their overall strength, great kicking game and Mike Badgley. The running game is a lot of versatility. The passing to Kyrie Negron out of the backfield, I think, got 6 passes against Caldwell, including a touchdown, and their semifinal victory over the Chiefs. I like this balance that John Liberato and a very strong coaching staff have. And again, you wonder, JR, this is an enigma. This is a quality we can't really gauge because we don't see the Morris County teams. But it's seen Lenape Valley from the same division, same league as Madison, get pummeled by West Essex in the North 2 Group 1 semifinal last Friday night. I got to wonder, is Summit playing a better schedule? I don't know. I mean, Madison, very good team. Chris Kubik's done some terrific things with them. But I just wonder about the strength of leagues, relative leagues.
Yeah, sometimes it's matchups too when you're talking about 2 specific teams. But the thing about Summit is, John Liberato got there in 2007 and decided, all right, not just one player is going to get the ball. As many as 5 or 6 players are going to get the ball, and they're all going to be impact players. And that's the reason why they're 32-1 their last 33 games. And look at Madison. Madison's won 23 games in a row. So they're both on a phenomenal run, and they're going to collide, and someone's going to win that section again.
And both have reloaded nicely. I mean, Madison graduated a ton from that team that beat Caldwell, and the credit to that program. Mm-hmm. He's got the weight program in sync. He's got some great skill people. It should be an interesting game. But your prediction?
My prediction? I think it'll be a close game.
Oh, you don't want to pick one? Okay. All right, JR, not doing that limb. I'm going to pick Summit, but we'll go from there.
Well, to be honest, to be perfectly fair, I've not seen Madison this year.
It's hard. It's hard to pick.
Yeah.
We're reading a lot of paper. We don't see all these.
Yeah, I've seen Summit. I've seen Summit a few times. Obviously, I've not seen Madison, and I'll give Madison all the respect in the world. Hopefully, it comes down to the last minute of the game, and I think that would be great for everybody.
And that's Friday night at Kane at 7 p.m. The kickoff there at Kane University. Let's move to will be a Saturday morning game in North 2 Group 3, Cranford Parsippany Hills. back at Kane where you'll be, and two upstarts in a sense. Neither has won a championship. Bar Hill's upsetting West Morris and Long Valley last Friday night, or a surprise certainly. Cranford really a complete game, dominating effort against Colonia.
Yeah.
How do you see this one matching up?
Well, you talk about schedules or who plays who. Cranford made Greg Jones, a talented senior running back for Colonia, look very ordinary. I mean, they totally stopped him. He only had about 34 yards rushing at the half. He was ineffective. Their defense, their base defense, whatever you want to call it, however, was explained to me by defensive coordinator Joe Hubert, just totally shut him down. And, Cranford, obviously, this is a big deal. It's the first time ever in a championship game. They're psyched. They're coming off a huge win. Their only loss was to Summit, and they lost decisively 52-21. Right after that, they beat a 7-0 Delaware Valley team 41-7, and they went to Colonia and beat a 7-1 team 34-7. Now, Greg Jones rushed for 450 yards and 5 touchdowns against a 7-0 Wall team. How good could this Wall team have been, based on what Cranford did to Colonia? But, both these teams, Cranford and Parachini Hills, are both going for their first state championship, which that makes this game, even more exciting, from that standpoint.
Eric Rosemeyer, kind of unnoticed at Cranford, has built a nice program. Dave Albano's been doing it for several years at Parsippany Hills, so two fine coaches going at it as well. And again, you haven't seen Parsippany Hills, so I should probably ask you for prediction. But
well, Eric Rosemeyer, this is his 7th year as the head coach at Cranford, and he's been waiting, to get Cranford in the playoffs. I thought they had a playoff team last year. They fell just short. And this year, you got to go right to junior quarterback Reggie Green, who has just made that team that much better by everything he does offensively. And I'll give senior linebacker Michael Klimick, he had an all-state performance against Colonia on defense Saturday. Just phenomenal.
I happened to catch Reggie Green very early on in 7-on-7s last summer at West Orange, and you can see he was a very fine athlete. He has had a banner season for sure for the Cougars. So that game at 10 a.m. on Saturday at Kane University on December 3rd. It should be a very competitive game, and we're going to have a first-time champion. Let's move to North to Group 4. 10 a.m. on Saturday at Rutgers Stadium. I love the new Rutgers Stadium. They finished that scoreboard, and it's just a great setting. I saw Montclair St. Peter's there in September. Terrific venue. Elizabeth and Piscataway, so much here. Elizabeth has had success, not in the last couple of years, but Chet Parlavecchio won a state championship at Rutgers in a stadium not that long ago. And Piscataway, I mean, their success, JR, is unprecedented.
Well, I'll throw out some numbers. This is a numbers game to me. And Piscataway doesn't need a bus for this game. They can just walk to the stadium. But being a Union County guy, I will definitely give Piscataway, Greater Middlesex Conference team, their due, because I don't think I've ever seen a team come into a section and dominate the way that they have. Their last year in Central Jersey Group 4, they won the championship in 2002. So they were moved into North 2 Group 4 in 2003, the first year of the reclassification. And now, this being their 9th year in the section, they will go into that game with a playoff record of 18-4, which is phenomenal. They're 7-2 in the quarterfinals, 7-0 in the semifinals, 4-2 in the final. And that 18-4 record includes a 7-1 record against Union County competition, meaning they've beaten Union, they've beaten Linden, they've beaten Westfield. Their only loss, they lost to Linden 13-12 after they beat Linden 27-0, 41-0 the years before. So, I mean, third time was a charm for Linden, and give Linden credit for winning that game. But they're 7-1 against Union County competition since 2003. Now, they've not played Elizabeth yet. And the thing about Elizabeth is, when they get to this game, they win it. They're 7-0 in the North 2 Group 4 final. Union still, even though Union has not won since 1993, they still have won the most championships in this section. Playoff championships, 10. Elizabeth is second with 7. And 5 years ago, on a Friday night at Rutgers, they came back and they beat the defending champion, Phillipsburg, 14-9, Elizabeth.
How about Piscataway as an 8 seed, too? We haven't seen too many 8 seeds.
No, they may be trying to become the first team to win a second championship as an 8 seed. Their first year in the section, 2003, they won it as the 8 seed.
And how about John Quinn in terms of what he's done and could possibly do at a third high school in terms of winning a championship at all three?
Yeah, there you go. He won once at Roxbury, twice at New Brunswick, and he's got a junior quarterback, Philip Walker, who at times looks like a college quarterback. His drop back ability, the way he throws the ball, the way he hits receivers in stride. Elizabeth, they can catch the ball. Senior running back Elijah Hughes, he's the real deal, and if he gets to the outside, he could be gone. I mean, Elizabeth, they've improved greatly the 2 years under John Quinn. There's no doubt about that.
And you look at Piscataway and what they've accomplished, and you have to say, my God, I mean, they win at East Orange. I thought they started to show themselves winning at Sayreville in a game they had to win in the regular season, week 9, and then they would do what they've done on the road and beating an outstanding East Orange team. So, any prediction there? You've seen Elizabeth.
Yeah, again, I've not seen Piscataway, unfortunately, but again, I'll say this about Piscataway. I don't mean to be a Piscataway cheerleader, but I got to give them credit. People thought maybe this wasn't going to be a playoff season for them. Well, on the cutoff date, they went to 7-1 Sayreville, beat them on the road 28-0. They went to 7-1 Hunter Central first round, won 34-31 overtime. Then they went to 8-1 East Orange. They win 7-0. That's quite a trifecta.
It's going to be something to see. We'll move to section 1 as we breeze along here. Look at the championship playoffs. Steve Tober with J.R. Parachini of SidelineChatter.com. North 1 Group 2, West Essex Riverdale, and that game at 1 o'clock Saturday, December 3rd at MetLife Stadium. West Essex, they don't miss a beat. Chris Benaquista, part of Dave Drozjak's staff, another program like Cedar Grove, great success with the championships. 5 under Drozjak during his 15 years, and 7 championships overall at the school, including number 1 in the state in 1980, and even a declared championship in '74. I don't know much about Riverdale. Like you, I've not. You haven't seen Madison. I haven't seen Riverdale. West Essex can run the ball with anybody. Stephen O'Neill having a tremendous season. The line, Dominic Valeriani, broken hand and all, is playing with a soft cast, and Matt Rando, a terrific center. I don't know where to predict it because I haven't seen Riverdale. It's going to be a very closely contested game. DJ Nymphius, formerly an offensive guru with Al Day at Glen Rock, and has been at Riverdale now for several seasons, done a terrific job. Should be an outstanding game. North 1 Group 4, I got to mention Montclair Mounties and North Bergen. Now, people would love to see what Montclair could have done in Section 2 this year, because this is a vintage Montclair team. Outstanding line, probably the player of the year in New Jersey, and Khalif Herbin, the little 5'7" quarterback, slot receiver, punt returner, kick returner, set an Essex County record for touchdowns, breaking Kevin Monongai's mark. He has 39 now, and has broken Racer Trullo's record for Nutley of points in a season. So this is going to be interesting to see. I don't give North Bergen a heck of a chance. Vin Ascalise, and you talk about, you like to follow the annals of great coaches, and Vin Ascalise will be his final game.
Yeah, we had 3rd winningest coach in state history, and but this is Montclair's section to win and win big. I mean, they were, they lost decisively to Randolph 19-0 in the championship game last year, and this is their section to win this year and go 12-0 for the first time in their history.
And we're going to stay with the Publix. I'm not going to delve into Bosco Bergen in this particular segment. We'll play Friday night in the feature game at MetLife Stadium. But interesting controversy, North 1 Group 3. It'll be the feature game Saturday night at MetLife Stadium, December 3rd. Old Tapan with Devin Fuller, another premier player, if not Herbin, the premier player in the state, going against Wayne Hills. And you talk about the controversy with what's happened with Wayne Hills players allegedly beating a couple of Wayne Valley students at a party at the end of October, being allowed to play. And what are your thoughts on that in terms of Wayne Hills, these players? We don't know, they've been not playing, they've been playing, and now they were back playing most recently.
Black eye for New Jersey high school football. I mean, does it have to be proven in the court of law that 9 Wayne Hills football players physically beat up 2 Wayne Valley students who don't play football? I mean, I don't think it has to be proven in the court of law that they did it. You got to start asking questions. If it was a party, was there alcohol served? Who was serving the alcohol? And then a lot of people have, raised the question, are the kids on steroids? Which is a whole other issue.
Wow, that's another whole other can of worms we're not going to get into today.
Yeah.
But I'll just say, we're the parents. Where is the shame of just parents standing up and showing discipline? And the coach, Chris Olson, he could have done a team suspension. It's a complicated issue. The Board of Ed, once you lawyer up with a superintendent and a principal and a Board of Ed, they all get nervous. But I wonder all about it. I'll credit the Star-Ledger, NJ.com, for a terrific editorial on the subject. Dave D'Alessandro, the fine sports writer, with a terrific column. I'll say it is a blight on North Jersey football. But let's wrap it up and let's be a more positive sense, JR. Maybe it's an overriding top story for you in this season as we look to the championship weekend involving the teams that are still with us?
Well, in Union County, I like the Cranford story, obviously, because they became the last team in Union County that had not reached the championship game. It's only their 5th year in the playoffs. Saturday was only their 2nd playoff win ever, so this is all brand new for them. And they've been close the last few years. Back in 2003, they got to the semifinals, lost a real close game. They almost got to a championship game then under Chris Hall. And like I said, they've been knocking on the door. And this year, 9-1. They've been 9-1. I mean, their only loss is the Summit. They've had a solid season, and they have a team capable of winning. I'm sure Parachini Hills also has a team capable of winning. They got to 2 championship games in 2005, 2006, so they want to win this time. And to me, I think that's the top story in Union County.
And I'll say in Essex County, Montclair looking to be the first 12-0 Mountie edition. I think John Fiore and company will get it done. John certainly one of the leading candidates for not only Essex County but statewide Coach of the Year, and I think Ed Sadlock could lay claim to certainly a contention for that role. He's done a great job at Cedar Grove. But Montclair with Khalif Herbin and the entire team has been the story. For J.R. Parachini, and I'm Steve Tober. Enjoy the playoffs as we get the championship weekend, and always log on to SidelineChatter.com.